How's it going, Webheads? My name is Ryan Walsh. There aren't many villains that really can replace Thanos within the MCU, but now really seeing that the Disney and Fox deal is going to be going through very soon, we can really anticipate exactly which villains are going to be taking place of Thanos after Avengers 4. I put together a list of 10 different villains that are going to be able to do this, and let's just really get into this ranking. Starting off at number 10, I have Ultron. Now, I know exactly what a lot of you guys are thinking. You're thinking that Ultron was already an Avengers level villain. He's done. He's not going to be coming back. Well, you never know. I would never say never, because if you really look at the entire MCU, a lot of people probably never thought that a lot of villains or heroes would ever come back, but yet some of them have been revived in some future movies. And personally for me, I think Ultron still could be alive. Even Bruce Banner did say in Infinity War that Vision is made up of not only just Bruce Banner, Tony Stark, the Mind Stone, but he's also made up of Ultron as well, meaning that Ultron probably is still inside Vision somewhere, and Ultron could come back and be completely revived and be a villain for the next couple phases of movies. I would not be surprised if they brought Ultron back in the future. He is one of those villains in the comic books to typically come back, and he always tries to evolve himself and be better than the previous iteration of him. So I personally think that Ultron could be that next villain to really come back and take over the Thanos role, being not only a threat to the entire Earth, but also the entire universe. At number 9, I have Red Skull. A lot like Ultron, Red Skull was already in the MCU, and he already was a villain of a movie, but we did just see him in Infinity War, and the Russo brothers did comment on what exactly happened to Red Skull after those events when he was seen again on Vormir, and they said that after Thanos gained the Soul Stone, he was free to leave Vormir. Finally, after 100 years, he's free to leave Vormir and go anywhere he wants, and even go try to track down some more Infinity Stones. So say Avengers 4 ends with all the Infinity Stones still out there, Red Skull can really go back and try to gather all the Infinity Stones because he knows a lot more about them, and he probably knows how to one, track them, and also how a being like himself, without that level of power of really being able to hold all the Infinity Stones, maybe he figured out a way that he could hold the Infinity Stones and gain the power that Thanos has right now. And not only that, he's been an Avengers villain for a very long time in the comic books, and a Captain America villain. He's always proven himself to be able to take on the entire team by himself, by outsmarting them and also being physically fit to take them all on. At number 8, I have the Skrulls. Now, the Skrulls really have been around the Marvel comic universe for a very long time, and they've always been known as a Fantastic Four villain. But recently, they've been affecting other superhero teams as well, like the Avengers, and really just all the superheroes on Earth, where they had this whole secret invasion storyline where they invaded Earth and tried to take over the entire planet, impersonating a lot of the superheroes. And now recently that Marvel has been showing that the Skrulls are going to be showing up in Captain Marvel, and they'll be the main villain in that entire movie. It really just makes sense that they would really go over into Avengers 4 and kind of be seated there as maybe posing as a couple superheroes, and then in phase 4, 5, or 6 we could see them show up as the main villain, trying to take over the entire planet or maybe even the entire universe. And something that I really want to see is just the Super Skrull. I think he's such a cool character, and now with the Fantastic Four coming over, you could definitely have the Super Skrull show up in a future MCU movie. At number 7, I have Annihilus. With the Disney and Fox deal going through, Annihilus is one of those key villains within the Fantastic Four, and we have seen in previous storylines within the comic books that Annihilus has been that big creature to really wage war on not only an entire planet, but the entire universe. He's done this in some storylines known as Annihilation. He really is almost taken over the entire universe, and a lot of cosmic superheroes have really had a difficult time taking down this creature from the negative zone. And the MCU has been preparing for phase 4 to really go more cosmic and really explore more of that world of the MCU, and Kevin Feige has already talked about this, that he was talking with James Gunn and really trying to expand it. But now that James Gunn's done, he's going to have to do it with someone else, but they still are going to be trying to do this. And Annihilus is a great villain to really try to expand that cosmic universe and have a great threat for just the entire MCU universe. And number 6, Magneto. Magneto has been one of the biggest villains within the entire X-Men franchise over at Fox. Now bringing him into the MCU, I think he could not only be just a big X-Men villain, but probably a big Marvel Universe villain. Not only just the Avengers, the X-Men, they could do everything. They could have an Avengers and X-Men team-up movie against Magneto, because he is that powerful. And Magneto has really just been one of those villains to be reinvented and always come back in the next movie and always be just a better villain overall. He's a very complicated villain, but at the same time, extremely powerful. And they have showed that they want to improve their villain problem, so Magneto is a great direction to go into. Number 5, I have Dormammu.
Dormammu, I've come to bargain.
Dormammu has already been established within the Doctor Strange movie, and the only thing holding back Dormammu from coming back and trying to take over the entire world and conquer this entire dimension is the Time Stone. When Doctor Strange had the Time Stone in the Eye of Agamotto, threatening Dormammu, that was the only thing holding him back. But now that Doctor Strange does not have that Time Stone anymore and Thanos does, that means Dormammu has an open door to come in and try to take over our dimension, and he definitely has that power level of Thanos that he could really try to do that and really would pose a great threat to the Avengers, the X-Men, the Fantastic Four, and all of the Marvel heroes. And a lot of fans, after seeing that Doctor Strange movie, really want to see Dormammu within the MCU again and have him be a giant villain to the entire MCU. And number 4, Doctor Doom. Now, obviously with the Fantastic Four movies that have come out, the Fantastic Four just have done a horrible job portraying Doctor Doom in the past. But I think the MCU is that one franchise that really can reinvent this character and make him just as great as he was in the comic books and how powerful he was in the comic books. Doctor Doom is not just a Fantastic Four villain. In my opinion, he's really just an entire Marvel Universe villain. He's always trying to challenge all of the Marvel superheroes that exist in the Marvel Universe, and he is definitely one of those villains that can outsmart all the other heroes. And Victor Von Doom is definitely one of those characters to have the drive to go and get those cosmic artifacts that are within the MCU, and there's plenty of them out there, so that Victor Von Doom can not only threaten the entire Earth, but the entire universe itself. And number 3, Apocalypse. Just like Victor Von Doom, Apocalypse has really been destroyed as a villain in the last X-Men movie. In my opinion, they did a horrible job trying to bring Apocalypse on the big screen, and he really is that Thanos level villain. Whenever I really think about giant villains within Marvel or DC, I usually think of Thanos, Darkseid, and Apocalypse. Those 3 villains are really the 3 that are just that big of a powerhouse. So Apocalypse is a real natural fit to really replace Thanos as that big baddie, and he would do a great job of really being the first mutant to introduce all of the mutants within the MCU, and that's just a great way to bring in the X-Men, the X-Force, Deadpool, and have that team really try to take out Apocalypse with the rest of the Avengers, Spider-Man, all those teams, really uniting all of the MCU in the next 3 phases. At number 2, I have Kang the Conqueror. Now, this may just be me, but I am a huge fan of Kang the Conqueror. I think he's a fantastic villain. Unfortunately, his rights have been with Fox this entire time, and that's why we haven't seen this villain pop up in an Avengers movie. But he's always been an Avengers villain. That's how he started out in the comic books, and that's usually where he fits in. But now that we did get that Fox merger, we will be seeing all these different characters show up in the MCU. Kang the Conqueror needs to be that villain that really expands upon time travel within the MCU, introducing some new elements, and I really want to see Kang the Conqueror try to take over the entire world and the entire universe. He's one of those future beings that really need to be within phase 4, 5, or 6 that's going to be down the road. He needs to be one of those villains that pops up and really just escalates the Avengers in a totally new era that we want to see them go in. And at number 1, this is going to introduce not only just one villain, but several different types of villains, just like Thanos did with the Black Order. This other character is probably one of the biggest powerhouses in the entire Marvel universe. He can destroy planets at will, and that is Galactus. And not only just Galactus, he's going to be introducing all of his heralds. He has tons of different heralds within the comic books, and those heralds themselves are just like the Black Order, where they can take out superheroes just on their own, and they're super powerful characters. So having someone that can destroy entire planets along with all of these different superpowered minions to really take on the Avengers, the X-Men, or the Fantastic Four is definitely that big powerhouse that could challenge everybody within the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I think Galactus is the number 1 choice, but what do you guys think? Let me know down in the comments below. I want to hear your opinions on this. If you guys want more ranking videos, I have plenty right in this playlist right over here. If you guys want more ranking videos for the future, definitely consider subscribing down below to Webhead and turning on that bell notification. But Webheads, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Bye-bye.